Hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today we're out in our front yard and we're gonna prune our yew shrub.
Yeah, they're so cool. They're just these tall columnar conifers you can see behind us here.
That green conifer looking thing back there.
They're such a cool privacy hedge. You can shape them however you want. We love them. We have 2 of them in our yard and we're gonna prune them today.
Yep. It's a good time to prune your yew shrubs this time of year, late winter, early spring, just before that flush of growth. And so you might have to come back and prune them again a little bit later in the spring just to kind of keep them formed up if that's what you want, or not. It's completely up to you. But before you go out and prune, make sure you know why you're pruning and what you're pruning, because if you don't have a plan, before you go out and prune, you shouldn't prune.
So we have a little guest helper today. We're dog sitting for a few days for my sister, and this is Jasper.
Look at that
you guys might have
good-looking
met
guy.
him, I think maybe last summer was the last time we had him. So he's staring off screen at his stick.
Yep.
He's a little obsessed.
He's a stick guy.
Yeah, he'll be on some videos with us this weekend. So here he is.
Hi, Jaspy.
He's a good looking guy.
Hi, buddy. So guys, we're out in our front yard. Here's one of our yew shrubs right here in the front of the house. You didn't see this one yet. You saw the other one behind the camera there. This one, unfortunately, was planted very close to the house and underneath the eave. Now, don't mind the house up there by the gutter. It's a little dirty. It's something we got to do a little bit later.
Another project.
Yep, another project. Yeah, unfortunately, this happens a lot where people will plant shrubs and small trees really close to the house. And they don't know, it's okay, it happens a lot. But what happens is the tree will get pretty large, pretty big, and it'll start growing up into the house structure, in this case, right underneath the eave. And we don't want that because it's bad for the plant, it's not that great for the house, and it also can create some unusual things to happen with critters and pests and stuff where they might have a good nesting place. So we just want to avoid that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to prune this yew shrub down maybe to about here, and we'll try and keep it at that level. And then after that, we're gonna come over and prune on the other one. And there's some things between the two that are gonna be a little bit different on the pruning because our goals are different. This one, it's a height issue, it's a closeness issue to the house. The other yew shrub you can see, it's just looking rangier, it's really tall, so we're gonna bring it down a little bit, but we gotta get some of those branches that are sticking out and kind of growing out a little weird. Not true to its form, which is a columnar form, a straight up form. So we're gonna get the shape of that one back under control. And we might prune it back, kind of bring it in, thin it a little bit, and get it more formed that way, a little bit tighter. So guys, before we get into actually getting the work done today, we wanna let you know, we've identified this shrub behind us, this yew shrub and the other shrub. And also, to back up a little bit, if you have never watched our videos before, you might not know this yet, but this house and this yard is 70 plus years old. It's from Allison's. It was originally first owned by Allison's grandparents. And so there's a lot of plants in here that are just, I mean, they're probably older. They're definitely older than Allison and I. And so we need to go through and just identify some of them because we weren't here when they were planted, right? So that's something that we are working on all the time. But we just identified this shrub, this yew shrub, as an English yew, or Taxus baccata, and specifically it's a Fastigiata cultivar. And so it's a fun name to say, right? Fastigiata, Fastigiata, Fastigiata. I did it 3 times fast, yeah. Okay. So we've identified these because of how the leaves are arranged, the colors of the leaves, the shapes of the leaves, and its form. With that, super cool. We're gonna get into it. What I'm gonna use today is Corona tools, obviously, our favorites. And so this is the dual link with comfort gel telescoping loppers, handled loppers. And this is a great tool to use, especially for this, if it's up above our head and it's hard to reach things. So also we've got our manual hedge pruners, and these are also Corona. Great tool. They keep a good edge, easy to maintain. We're gonna use them a little bit in this one, maybe a little bit over there to kind of form things up a little bit as we go. Oh, and then of course, my favorites, the classic cut hand pruners, 1 inch. So yeah, and the links will be down below if you want to check those out. Okay guys, what we got here is we're gonna bring this down. We wanna make this maintainable for us for into the future, but really we gotta get it away from the eave here. I mean, it's not a good situation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on the edge of it and I'm gonna work my way in. That way I can kind of keep that same level going in. So I'm gonna start it right about here.
Watching Sean cut this is torture for poor Jasper because he wants the stick, hi Jasper, But we know that because of our research that yew shrubs are actually very poisonous. So make sure you don't let your animals get near it or grab them. So if you need to know more about that, just research toxicity with yew shrubs. You guys, we had considered transplanting it, and we still might someday. Probably not this year. We have too many other projects. But maybe someday we will, because we were going to actually originally put a rain barrel over here, and we changed our plan, moved that to the backyard.
We're going to get it in a maintainable, conditioned. Yeah, and obviously it'd be great to get it out away from the house, but yeah, not right now. There's some other considerations with some utilities we got to look into before we do that too, because there's some pipes and things over here. So
it's kind of nice. It actually sort of hides it. So maybe we should just leave it here.
Yeah, we can. But the thing is that under these conditions, we're going to have to continually keep it away from the house on the side and then keep it down away from the eaves. So
yeah, good point. The
keeping it, so keeping it here, it's going to take more maintenance than say the one out there, which doesn't take a lot of maintenance once we get it under control. So guys, here we are. This is pretty much the finished product.
So
looks a little different, I know. And the reason it looks different is because we definitely cut the top, got it away from the eave and the gutter and stuff. Now over here, you'll see this is a lot more open. I wanted to get part of it away from this gutter.
But you know what? These grow really fast. And I mean, they could grow as much as a foot a year, we found out. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, this is a little older, but if we do some trimming on it, we can definitely stimulate it to grow a little bit more faster. That's something that does happen when you prune on plants. It does stimulate them to grow. So different plants are stimulated a little bit more than others, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's cute though. You did a good job.
Thank you. So guys, now we're at our other yew shrub here. It's got this columnar shape, a little bit not so columnar right here with this, but that's because we think there was a little bit of snow the last couple of years, and the snow gets on here and it'll pull these tall columnar trees and these pieces down on these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna reshape and try and get this to grow a little bit straighter. To do that, we gotta take these pieces off here to take the weight off, so then it can continue to go up. So that's our first order of business. The next orders of business is to just kind of shape this a little bit, thin out these different pieces that are kind of just coming out and doing their own thing to reclaim the columnar straight up growth. So that's our plan. So first off, let's get in here. I'm gonna start. So something you guys wanna think about when you're pruning too, if you're taking weight off of a shrub or tree to get some type of form back, take off pieces like this that have all the weight on it, take it back in sections. Don't just go for the last big shot to see what happens. Take it off in sections to see how it reforms, because as I take these pieces off, it's gonna wanna come back up towards the tree. And so I don't wanna cut too much off to create too much of a gap and then make it look different than the way we want it to look. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start up here and I'm just gonna cut that off. I'm gonna take these pieces, see what happened there? I took that off and it already came up. So let's go with this guy, do that. Yep, going up a little bit more. Let's go right about there. Take that off. Yeah, that helps right there. Let's see if I do that. That takes that off. You can't see that cut anymore. Sometimes when you're pruning too, especially evergreens, you can kind of hide your cuts depending on the angle you cut them at and have it face inwards. So when people are looking at it, they're not going to see that fresh cut. And then over a couple months, it'll start to heal, and then you won't see it at all. But from far away, you won't be able to really see that. So that'll be good. So we kind of want, but it's kind of leaning. So let's do that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to prune these other tips off here and leave this one tip on here. So then that'll start growing up that way. Cool. So here's another branch we got here. It kind of came out and now it's whipping up. So that's not really helping the form that we want. We don't want to take it all the way out because we want to keep some of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back here for now. And we'll hide that cut. But then we're reforming the plant. Now you guys can see this other shrub is actually growing straight into and growing over partially the yew. So that's something we got to tackle in a little bit. And again, this is another shrub. We didn't plant it. It's older. It's rangy.
Though. It is rangy.
We got to get it under control and reform it. We might have to do a total rehab pruning on it. That means we're gonna have to really cut it back hard to reform it and shape it. I think we've identified it to baby's breath spirea. And so it's a very common spirea to have. It's beautiful. It has these delicate little flowers. So anyways, that's something we're gonna have to tackle in a little bit.
After it's done blooming, right?
Yep, definitely after it's done blooming. So guys, we're doing the old move it away and kind of take a step back and look at it with two sets of eyes. And we agree this needs, both Allison and I agree, this needs to come out, but we want it to regrow and fill this area in. So we're not gonna take this whole branch off. What we're gonna do is, see if I let that go up, there's pieces here, there's parts here along this branch that are actually, there's stems already developed, they wanna grow, there's even new growth here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it back to about here. These little branches are gonna actually take over for this part we're gonna take off, and they'll start growing up, at least that's the plan. And the tree should react well to that. So that's what we wanna do, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna take it back right there. Got this guy, kind of the same thing, but it
That one's more upright though.
It does serve a purpose there. Maybe we'll keep that. Maybe take that off. So guys, off camera, we decided we want this one, this yew shrub, to slightly, hopefully kind of match the other one. So we're gonna top it. Something to think about. Whenever you're pruning on a plant, you're basically having a conversation with the plant, and you're telling the plant, I'm gonna cut you here because I don't want you to grow in that direction or there. I want you to grow in all the other places that I'm leaving, that I'm not cutting. So when we cut this plant up here and we're gonna top it, we're telling it, don't grow up. We want you to really grow out. We want you to grow and take all your resources, not go that way, come out, grow in these different areas that we've left. And so it's a kind of conversation that you're having with the plants. So it's a different way to think about pruning, but it kind of works, you know, it's fun to think about. So guys, here we are. This is our finished product so far. We're gonna come back and do some more pruning on it a little bit later. For right now, we're good with how this looks. There's still some outliers here and some different things, but we've taken probably a third of it down, a third of the way down from how tall it was before. And we wanna give the plant a chance to kind of recover from that. General rule of thumb, don't take more than a third to a half of a tree of its mass away at one time. Usually a third. You can get away with a half with some, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's a big shock, right? You're taking something that's this big and you're cutting away half of it. That's a big shock to any plant. So go with the third and let the plant recover. Give it a couple months, see how it reacts. Is there gonna be stress to it? Maybe. You're just gonna need to make sure that it's getting enough water, sunlight, all the things that it needs, airflow, so it stays healthy. And so we're gonna do that with this, and we'll fine tune this a little bit later, but right now we like where it's at. So guys, in general, the cuts we made on these yew shrubs, most of them were heading cuts, where we just cut in between the middle of branches and stems and such. There were a couple of thinning cuts where we did remove full branches, full stems to their point of attachment, but not many. With trees and shrubs like this, especially these shrubs, you can do a lot of heading cuts. Hedging is what mainly heading cuts are, and the plant's gonna look great. So guys, with that, leave any comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
Yep, that's a wrap for today. We completed our goal in the front yard, so we got it in before the rain too. Yep. So
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. So we'll be back tomorrow with our next garden care video. Come on by to see what we're up to, you guys, and have a great day ahead.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.